Guess what? It's another fall, and I'm still single. You want to know why?
We don't care.
Why are all men trash? I ordered this coffee, sit outside on a bench to wait. On the bench next to me, there's a pretty attractive guy my age. Suddenly, his 6-year-old dad appears, and the son goes inside, okay? The dad looks at me and goes, hi. Says something creepy like, you're the essence of Easter, okay?
Aww.
Son comes back out. They're talking a little bit. Dad continues to talk to me. Stop. As they're leaving, the dad looks at me and goes, bye.
Aww.
You are a dirty, dirty dog.
What's crazy is so many women that are hitting the wall have so much to say about how men approach them, but then if men are not approaching them, then that's also a problem. It's like men need to court me, men need to lead, men need to make the first move, but when they do, then they're called pieces of shit. And this is a perfect example. Why is he a piece of shit? Because the way that you wanted him to approach you, the way you had it conjured up in your brain, because he didn't read your mind on how you wanted to be approached, now he's trash and all men are trash. Make that make sense. I'm just at a point where I don't even think that women understand what the fuck they want, because if men don't approach them, it's a problem. But then when they do, that's also a problem. And the solution is really that women should approach men if they're interested in them. But the reality is women are never going to do that because they cannot take rejection in the same way that men do. Point blank, period, because women think that they're entitled to all of this attention and they can't even fathom being rejected. But it just is so embarrassing for the good women left in the world that women come on the internet and say all men are trash simply because he said something that maybe you found creepy, but laugh it off. Get to know him. Maybe ask for his name or his number. You found him attractive. And again, where's your initiative? If you found him attractive, you could have easily flipped it and made it a really good conversation and gotten to know him. But instead, you decided to come on the internet and call all men trash. No wonder why you're single.
That's what I don't get when men are like, what makes you think you deserve that? And blah, blah, blah. You know how men are sometimes. I feel like even people have gotten stingy with dates where they're like, why would I treat her to dinner? I don't even like her yet. Like, I would just take her to a drink. And it's like, no. Well, I deserve a full 5-course meal because I give myself this. I took myself on a trip to Italy by myself. You wonder why the bar is high? Because I set it for myself. I have a high bar for myself and my standard of living and how I want to live my life. And if you can't compete with the stuff that I can give me, then you have no business being in my life or a part of it. Because I'm
Keyword, compete. Why would any man want to come into a relationship and have to compete with you? This is where they get backwards. What? No, it's we're going to be competing with each other now? This is unbelievable. Who is teaching these modern women how to think?
You don't deserve anything. You either earn it or you end up complaining on social media that you had to take yourself on a trip because no man could stand being stuck with you in a foreign country.
So we all know in 2024 the dating scene kind of sucks.
Couldn't agree more, and I'm sure you're going to enlighten us as to why.
And a lot of that has to do with the fact that men no longer court women.
Again, I 100% agree, and there's a reason for that, and I'm willing to bet you're going to share with us what you think those reasons are. I'm also willing to bet that whatever you think the reasons are aren't even remotely close to the actual reasons why.
Men no longer pursue women the way they used to. Think about The Notebook. Think about the way that Noah pursued Allie from the second he saw her. That literally doesn't happen anymore. Maybe like 5% of the time.
Now I have to admit it's been a while since I made my way through that god-awful movie. But her referencing it proves once again that women live and breathe in fantasies. And because she loved what she saw in that movie, she's now decided that that's the way it's always been, at least up until now. Every man has pursued women in exactly the same way as what happened in that movie. Well, I hate to break it to you, darling, but that's not even remotely close to reality.
So these are my theories as to why the dating scene is like that. First of all, I think that the music we've listened to growing up has really affected this. I think that rap music has had such a negative impact on men and on the dating scene because if you listen to rap music and you listen to the way that these guys refer to women, they basically just talk about them like they're objects for sex and they're really not useful for anything else. Like there's literally zero respect for women in these songs.
Now, I actually think she's got a little bit of a point about music and rap music in particular influencing the mindset of today's men. I don't necessarily disagree with her, but I also think it's highly influenced the mindset of today's women. Now, I'm no fan of rap music, and I don't listen to it. It's not my thing any more than country music is. But to blame everything on rap music, not so much. But it is a fair point to say that there has been some influence. And the little bit I do know about rap music is it can be very degrading towards women. But the other observation I've often made is that the biggest connoisseurs of that music, the ones who follow it the most, happen to be white suburban teenage girls. Just saying.
It also makes it harder for them to be in a committed relationship because they're used to seeing different girls every single time they watch this. They lose appreciation for a woman's body and just for her as a human being because they have such easy access to naked women.
No. Not even close on that one. And by the way, why would it be any different for women who choose to partake in corn? And oh yes, ladies, you do choose to partake in corn. Oh, you may not watch the videos as much, but I remind you that 50 Shades of Grey and other similar novels sell by the millions every single year. And it ain't guys buying them. And yes, ladies, they are a form of corn. And they set unrealistic expectations every bit as much as the videos do.
They don't need to court women in order to see these things, so they stop courting women in real life too.
Or maybe, just maybe, they've stopped courting women the way the guys in those romance novels do. So you don't see it when they do court you. Because, well, it's the bare minimum. It's not enough. Your expectations are based on romance novels and rom-com movies, where their men are absolutely perfect and fulfill every woman's desire. It's where the whole sixes mentality comes from. Because those guys in the movies and in those books are all 6 feet tall millionaires with six-pack abs and, well, you know the rest. They're fantasies, not reality. But yet women have set their expectations based on them. While of course saying it's completely misogynistic if men hold women to the same standards that all the actresses in those movies display. Funny how that is.
And it's the exact same thing when these guys are viewing girls on social media, and it also impacts the way they view women in real life who are just raw, unedited, real, natural human beings, because now their brains are so trained into thinking that that's not what attractive women look like.
I mean, kind of like how women think every man should look like Ryan Gosling, you know, that actor in The Notebook, that movie you swooned over earlier. How's that any different? But yet in your mind, it is. Again, more generalizations of men while refusing to acknowledge that women are exactly the same way.
They think that women are supposed to look like what they see in porn and on social media when all of that is fake.
It's mind-boggling how they literally cannot see the double standards and hypocrisy of their entire arguments.
Women giving it up way too easy. Why would a man court you and try hard to win you over?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did she suddenly just figure it out? Let's see what else she's got to say here.
When he can just buy you a drink at the bar and then get in your pants. Just as much as men are not courting women, we are also enabling them.
Well, in the end, I gotta give credit where credit's due. She did nail one of the big reasons why men aren't courting women. Because it makes far more sense to men to lease a Ferrari and, when you get bored with it, maybe a Lamborghini, than to lock yourself down with the purchase of a minivan. But that's not the real reason. In the end, men would be perfectly happy with a minivan if, and this is the big one, they got something in return. Because that's the real reason why men aren't courting. If you listen to everything she said in that video, up until the very end, she put all the blame on men. She looked for every reason she could except the real one. The fact being that women offer nothing in return in relationships anymore. And the reason she does that is, well, as I always say, taking accountability or taking responsibility to women is akin to kryptonite to Superman. And rather than accept and acknowledge the fact that they offer nothing to men other than a certain thing, a thing which is readily available by her own admission, they seek to put the blame on things like rap music and corn. Now, earlier she said that those things are examples of how men don't respect women. In reality, the reverse is true. The ultimate real reason why men are done and walking away, why they're no longer courting women, is that today's modern women do not respect men. Not in any way, shape, or form. They see them as things to be used and then discarded. It's why 80% of women file for divorce, and the number one reason they file is they think they can do better or they're bored. Knowing that that's the reality more than half the time, why would you ever expect men to come a-courting. It makes no sense. The logic does not compute. And until that changes, until women start showing some respect for men and acknowledging them and treating them as human beings, not wallets, well, nothing's going to change.